Quiet, all of you. I'm trying to record an important message. Greetings, puny humans. The following broadcast shall reveal intricate plots and dark secrets from the cinematic exposé Cats and Dogs. If you have not yet witnessed my brilliant attempts to conquer the canine world, you might want to pause this and watch my genius unfold first. Proceed at your own peril, for spoilers lie ahead. Now let us unleash chaos!
You are listening to Diabolical Evil Schemes Done Better, the podcast where four long-suffering friends dissect film's most dastardly schemes, then try to improve them. I'm your host, Adam, and this week we shall be competing to improve the villainous scheme of the much maligned and misunderstood kitties from Cats and Dogs in another special guest episode. So, use feline and canine words in a proverb of your choosing, and let's get diabolical. Welcome to this week's episode, and we'll start by welcoming our special guest, host and creator of the Fandomentals podcast, Harley Mumford. Welcome to the show, Harley.
Woo. Thank you for having me, guys.
Welcome.
Harley, are you a cat or a dog person?
Well, as we were discussing just before the recording, you can see I'm very much a dog person.
Yeah.
But I got nothing against cats.
Good.
In that you wish them no specific harm.
Yes. Except the one that leaves me presents in my driveway every now and then. That one I do wish very specific harm to.
Craig, are you a cat or a dog person?
I'm not a cat, but I'm a cat person. Currently, I have one cat. Previously had two cats.
Yeah.
I think cats are just kind of more my style. They don't really need much attention, and they're very chill. So much so that the current cat we have doesn't show me any affection or spend any time with me. So
I do.
Yeah, perfect pet.
They're good like that sometimes. They get the vibe of the house quite quickly, so they know.
Yeah.
Ben.
I am a dog people.
But
I grew up with cats and dogs, and I'm happy with both of them.
Yeah. And Gaz.
I'm currently a cat and a dog person. We've got two cats and one dog. But on balance, I think I'm probably more with Craig. Cats need less taking care of.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a bit of a ball ache thinking, oh, God, I got to get up and walk the dog when you're knackered in the morning. But yeah, love them all, but on balance, cat person, I'd say.
Yeah. I wouldn't turn down a lovely, cuddly dog. It would be nice to have one in the house. But that's where you make your children look after the dog. If you want a dog, it's your responsibility. But really, you're thinking, I'd love a dog and I don't have to look after it.
But when does that ever work out?
Yeah, you try that.
As for me, I'm most definitely a cat person, but I do love dogs a heck of a lot. But only since I've had Frodo. But then I'm nuts for dogs now. I go out on walks and I always approach people and go, "Can I come and say hi to your dog?" and stuff like that. So I'm crazy for dogs. Even when I'm not out and I see like an interesting dog and I'm like, I've got to go and say hi and stroke those dogs.
That's funny because you do remind me of a Sphinx cat.
Smooth.
When you meet a pug half breed as well, it's brilliant. Or you meet a beagle. Or something like that. I'm like, oh, he's a beagle as well.
Prius.
Next, my colleague Ben, who should be slurping from a container of water over there.
Hello.
Predictable old Ben.
Will ask our special guest several questions.
Thank you, Adam. So this is the part of the show where we ask our guests some scientifically determined questions to find out just how diabolical they are. Harley, like a Rorschach test, please answer honestly with the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
Stark or Targaryen?
Targaryen.
Oof.
Care to expand?
They got dragons.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're a dragon person, aren't you? Yeah.
I thought when it started, the wolves are cooler, but then they all died like pretty quickly. And I was like,
In really sad ways. Doctor Who or Dr. Quinn, medicine woman?
That's incredible. I'm going to say Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I'm a medicine woman fan myself.
Yeah. Which Bond was she in? A Live and Let Die, I think, wasn't it?
Yes, Jane Seymour, wasn't it? Yeah.
Pizza, piping hot or following morning cold?
Oh, piping hot. I think psychopaths enjoy it cold the next day.
I think they're both good.
Yeah, I think it depends on your mood, doesn't it, really?
Oh, there's nothing better than that hard cheese the next day.
If you say so.
Would you rather wake up with a Klingon forehead or a Jedi Master Ki Adi-Mundi style cone head? You know, the big one.
I do. I know them both very well. It's a brilliant question. I'd probably just go with the first option because at least then you could hide it under a hat. Like, as I'm on this call now, I'm wearing a trucker's cap. I've been wearing all day. You know, beanies. You've got options, whereas a Chiari-Mundi style head, there's no hiding that, really, is there? There's nothing you can do. Can't come over it.
You can put the beanie on it, but it's going to be pretty high up still.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever see on Red Dwarf when Lister had a head infection and his head is quite large and pussy and he wears his deerstalker hat on top of it? But it's a good foot above his head.
Exactly, yeah. I don't want to repeat that look if I can help it.
90s gross out comedy marathon or 80s fantasy binge?
Ooh, I like that. Let's go 80s fantasy, I think.
Good.
I'm a nerd at heart, so anything sci-fi fantasy, that's right up my street.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one. You're trapped in a horror movie. Which character archetype are you?
I'd like to say the hero or something quite dramatic, but I think realistically, I'd probably be the one that gets killed off first. I think that's what would happen. I'd stumble into the knife or do something really stupid.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm out in the first go. You know, because you watch a horror movie and you can always think, I just wouldn't do this.
Right.
But I think in the situation, I would definitely panic and do something really dumb and get either myself or everybody else killed for sure.
I think the reality is, everybody says, it's so stupid. You watch these horror films and they fall into the same tropes. But if there was something happening in your real life that was like a horror film, you would be in complete denial that this was like the horror film come to life. And you would just do the same stupid shit they all do.
Especially if you don't know there's a monster hiding around the corner or something.
Right.
It's totally out of place and it's like a predator or an alien. And you're like, and then all of a sudden you get 3 dots on your head and your head explodes.
Yeah, right. I mean, I watched Romulus the other week and I was thinking the same thing watching it. I was like, I'd be one of the first to go. I'd panic and I don't know if I get killed by one of the aliens. I think I would just run into a room and then activate the airlock or something by accident and shoot myself out into space.
All right, Harley, for the chance to experience your favourite movie again as if it were the first time, all you have to do is steal candy from a child. What do you do?
Easy, steal candy from the child. If I get to rewatch Blade Runner 2049 again for the first time.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a very good one. Yeah.
And I know the kid that I would steal from as well.
Would you pass a Voight-Kampff test? Why aren't you helping the turtle, Harley?
Yeah, what's a turtle?
You're a showrunner for a hit swords and sorcery TV show. What actor would you love to kill off in the first season finale twist?
That's a good question. I mean, my brain immediately went to Sean Bean, but then I was like, that's been done before. And also, just for the joke of Sean Bean dies in this.
Sean Bean killing, yeah.
Yeah, but Timothée Chalamet, I think, would be quite interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of a big actor right now, like someone you would not expect.
Yeah.
Also, that fans would hate you for killing off.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
My mind leapt to Pedro Pascal, but then I realised the same show did that as well.
Yeah.
But he wasn't as popular then.
That's true. If that happened now, it'd probably be a different story. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to bring back a former massive actor, put him into 2 episodes of a series and kill him straight off.
Yes. That would be great.
Emilio Estevez.
Steve Guttenberg.
Clive Owen.
Emilio Estevez, he's back.
Clive Owen.
Billy Crystal?
Yeah.
Which movie franchise deserves a do-over?
Joe, I'm going to swing big. I'm going to say Star Wars.
Yes.
I love it. And I'm a child of the prequels, so I've got a lot of love and time for those movies.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is such a mess. It would be great to have the chance to do that again.
Right.
And, with hindsight, be able to keep the stuff that works and that's great and we all love and, cherry pick from the different versions, whether it's TV, whether it's, hell, even some of the comics and video games had some really cool stuff, and you could just sort of streamline everything.
Yeah.
Wouldn't put it past George Lucas to do a 20th anniversary special edition where he just replaces all the actors and the story is different. This is why we did it all on green screen.
And every other line is McClunky.
As long as they keep the blue milk, I'm happy.
Ben and I are massive fans of Knights of the Old Republic game.
Mate.
And I think that is huge. And why haven't they done that? Something around there.
I agree, Adam. I was so hoping that that's what The Acolyte was going to be. And instead it was just a really boring detective story within Star Wars that wasn't very interesting.
I did really like the guy from The Good Place, though, and his mask and everything. That was great.
Ted Danson. That's not a mask. It's a wig. All right. And finally, who needs taking down a peg or two?
Yeah, so many.
That kid that you want to take the candy from.
I mean,
sounds
yeah,
like
definitely. But yeah, I'm just thinking about people with egos or anyone that I see that. Oh, I know. I've got one. Here we go. I can bring my musical tastes and opinions into this. Ollie Sykes. Bring Me the Horizon frontman.
Okay.
I'm old and not cool anymore, so...
I've heard of Bring Me the Horizon. I wouldn't have known who Ollie Sykes was, yeah.
I've heard of The Horizon. All right, Harley, I've been totting up the answers to your questions. I've put it through the algorithm. And it turns out you are 9 florets of broccoli diabolical. That's mainly for knowing the child that you'd steal from.
Yes.
That's pretty evil. I think he deserves a couple extra florets.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty evil.
In my defense, they are pretty insufferable, so,
Yeah, some kids are, aren't they?
No judgments here. Except for the floret rating, obviously.
Yeah. That's fair. I'll take that.
Cats and Dogs was released in 2001. It features a secret war between cats and dogs, who are portrayed as highly intelligent creatures with advanced technology in a similar theme to a spy movie. The plot centres around a group of dogs trying to protect a scientist who is developing a vaccine that would cure human allergies to dogs, while the cats, led by the villainous Mr. Tinkles, are trying to stop them. The film features a stellar cast including Tobey Maguire, Susan Sarandon, Jeff Goldblum and Diabolical podcast favourite Billy West. The film blends live action with CGI to bring the animals' actions and personalities to life. Upon its release, Cats and Dogs grossed a respectable total of $200 million worldwide on a $60 million budget, making it successful enough to spawn a sequel, Cats and Dogs: The Revenge of Kitty Galore, released in 2010, and another instalment, Cats and Dogs 3: Paws Unite, which came out in 2020. But Harley, why did you pick this film, and do you love it?
I do like this film. This is a childhood favourite of mine. I was kind of inspired because when you guys reached out and we were saying about doing this episode, it wasn't long after Gaz and Craig, you were kind enough to come on the show and we talked about movie villains.
Our pleasure.
That was great fun. And it just got me thinking. Yeah. I think weeks before that, I'd had the chat with Scott from Spy Hards, which if no one's familiar, go and check out that podcast. It's fantastic.
Yeah, do it.
They're really, really good. And we were talking about Cats and Dogs because they'd done a recent episode on all of them and they spoke to the director and it was just a really interesting and fun conversation. I just sort of went back to the film and it just sort of all of that basically just was nice synergy, I suppose, that just kind of came together and made me think, this would be a fun one to do because I feel like this character is just a really great archetypal movie villain. This is a film where it's all about tropes and it's all about silly jokes and references. And I think the villain just fits into that absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, he's really good, isn't he? Sean Hayes that does the voice, isn't he? He's brilliant.
Yeah, he's a really underrated actor, I think. One of those guys that every time he pops up in something, he just knocks out the park.
Yeah, I think he was underserved by Will and Grace. When you see him pop up in other stuff, you're always like, oh, this guy's so good. Because that was kind of a one-note character.
Yes.
Or from what I saw of it, at least. I didn't watch it religiously. But yeah, he's really good. And he's like a Blofeld's cat type cat.
Yeah.
Or a Mr. Bigglesworth, if you will.
Mr. Bigglesworth, yeah.
there's kind of a strange quality to some of the faces. It's quite realistic sometimes and quite cartoony at others.
Yeah.
It can be quite jarring for me watching it. Particularly, is it called Butch? Alec Baldwin's character?
Right.
I found at times it almost looked as though the dog had had a stroke because it was like drooping on one side. And I found that quite distracting.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here with this CG? It's very odd. But yeah, on the whole, the voice acting and the casting is very good for all of the animals. Tobey Maguire particularly, I find him quite charming in pretty much everything.
Yeah.
He's in. And
except for real
voice.
life.
Well.
Molly's Game got a good story out of it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got quite a charming lead character in the league, thanks to the dog that they've chose, the little puppy, and Tobster's performance. Quite good in that regards, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was surprised at how good it looked when it came out.
That was something I
100%.
learned chatting with Scott and in his chats with the directors about this was this film, of all films, like pioneered sort of talking animal technology in Hollywood.
All right.
There is an interesting spike after this in just like anything from films, TV shows, to even adverts of talking animals because of this movie, because of the work that the people did behind the scenes. It just opened the gateway of like, oh, we can do this and it looks pretty decent. So that's why if you go back to sort of when this came out around 2001, that kind of content just suddenly was everywhere, which is wild. It's like, of all things to pioneer the technology, it's this movie.
Interesting.
The mix of animatronics and CGI, I think that is maybe just explains the inconsistency in the look.
Particularly in Mr. Tinkles, the moustache and the big eyebrows at times are really, really like overly expressive, I suppose you'd say. I didn't even consider the mix of real animals and animatronic and CGI. But yeah, it seems obvious now you say it out loud. But
as I was watching it, I was thinking, well, what other films before this would that involve with like the animals' lips moving and stuff like that? And before that, the only film I could think of was where the animals talk, but their mouths don't move, is like Homeward Bound.
Yeah.
Or Babe 2, Pig in the City.
What about Mr. Ed, the talking horse, of course? Just wax some peanut butter on the gums. The easy way to do it, the cheap way.
Just give a horse diabetes for the sake of entertainment.
The small price to pay for art.
Of course.
Let's move on to favourite sequences. We'll start with you, Harley.
I would say actually one of my favorite sequences is the Russian cat showing up in the house and just the absolute chaos that ensues with that and all the gadgets that he coughs out. And there's something really funny just about all of that and like the absolute carnage that ensues. And again, there's some good standout moments in that. And the bit where like Lou jumps up and gets caught by the weird boomerang thing and just goes round and around. It looks pretty good. And again, quite a fun idea that he sort of ends up taking the cat down just by being a dog and just playing and getting caught in the middle of all of it. There's something really funny about all of that. And the way that it's the little button at the end of the scene is the sort of cleanup crew coming in and just completely redecorating the house like nothing had ever happened. And that bit where the mum comes home and she just walks past and they're all just sort of frozen, just waiting. It's like just bullets in the walls and like torn up furniture everywhere. They're just like, wait for it.
They did that really well. The classic distracted mum trope. You know, she walks in and somehow doesn't see anything that's going on. But yeah, it was expertly done.
Yeah, it's just a really fun sequence. And just I think this first line, Lou's like, I'm on to you. And he just goes, I think not. It is I was on to you. And just like the turn of like that really deep voice just coming out of a tiny little grey kitten's brilliant. Yeah, really good fun. What about you guys?
Craig, if you want to start us?
One really stuck out to me, which was the toilet water gag, where the toilet is how they communicate, like a video phone. If anybody catches them, they're just drinking the toilet water. That was brilliant.
Gaz?
Well, I'm going to have to go for a twofer. My preferred favourite sequence was the fight with the Russian cat in the house. However, for a second choice, which will also feature my favourite dialogue, it's when Mr. Tinkles is being wheeled across the factory floor with Mr. Mason. And everybody's like, hi, Mr. Mason. And he's just going, out of my way. Good morning. Lunch for you. How are you, Mr. Mason? Yes, I am Mr. Mason, your human boss.
Yeah, it can't be a bit of Weekend at Bernie's style action.
Yeah. I felt like some of that dialogue was kind of, it must have been ad-libbed by Sean Hayes. It's very his humour, I felt.
Yeah.
Some of it.
You're all fired.
Ben.
Yeah, my favourite sequence was also the Russian cat sequence. In addition to that, I did like Jeff Goldblum as this kind of distracted professor. Every time he came out, he was only out for like 30 seconds, but he was testing something or he was doing something, and then he was back into the lab. I like those little appearances from him. You know, sometimes he was trailing wires behind him, and yeah, it's really good.
Brave and great decision of them to give him a comically swollen nose in that one scene.
As for me, I like the bit where they swapped out the beagle puppies for the Dobermans.
Yeah. What a wonderfully incurious farmer.
I thought it was really cute when he said, don't forget to wag those tails, and the five of them just all started wagging their tiny little tails as well. Unfortunately, the horrible people who'd had those puppies had clipped the fucking ears, which I absolutely hate on any animal.
Jesus.
Way to bring
it down, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, but that's like all parts of life, isn't it? It's wonderful, but also tragic at the same time.
Yeah. Like Muller Corner.
Yeah, that's it. Right, we'll go now to favourite lines, and we'll go back to you, Harley.
I mean, there's a number of different favourite lines. They're all Mr. Tinkles because they're all glorious. I won't take all of them. I think my personal favourite has to be the back and forth between him and Kaliko, voiced by John Lovitz, as like they've set fire to the room. And he's going, I want you to stay here. And he's like, why? He goes, because I hate you. And he just closes the door.
Brilliant.
It's the delivery and the back and forth between them. It's so funny. Every time it just makes me absolutely crack up with laughter.
It is great.
There's a brilliant chemistry between them.
Oh,
really fantastic. It's non-stop.
I've got 3 or 4 that I could hardly choose between, but my top favourite is after the family is duped into going to what they think is going to be a football match between Uruguay and Chad, and then they get kidnapped. And when Jeff Goldblum wakes, he asks, who do you think kidnapped us, Uruguay or Chad? That's such like a Simpsons joke.
It is, yeah.
That's
great.
Yeah, it's very good, very good. Ben.
So my favourite line was from the Russian cat scene. It's just after he's coughed up one of the hairballs, and he says, from Russia with love, stealth poop.
Yeah.
And Gaz.
I've just got another Mr. Tinkles line where it's obvious who he's addressing when he says, hello, my puny-minded dog-faced opponents. It's just the fact that he's insulting them by saying that they've got their own faces.
He's great. Mine is just a very simple but extremely clever line, I thought, is where Mr. Tinkles is revealing his plan to the mice, and Butch is watching on, and he just says, son of my mom.
Like what you're hearing so far? If our podcast made you purr with delight or wag your tail in joy, don't be shy. Leave us a positive review on the platform you're currently listening on. Curiosity killed the cat. We've got tales that will have you howling with laughter and scratching for more. Don't miss out. Fetch another episode now and discover the ferocious fun we get up to in all our other episodes. Over 100 of them. We think we're the podcast that really is the Dog's Dangly Bits.
Incredible work.
Hope I hit the right intonation on
You did
that.
it.
Yeah.
Fantastic justice. In Cats and Dogs, fluffy Persian cat Mr. Tinkles masterminds a plot to overthrow the canine world by sabotaging a scientist's efforts to create a vaccine that would eliminate human allergies to dogs. His ultimate goal is to ensure cats dominate the world, enslaving humans in the process. Unfortunately, Mr. Tinkle's plan fails when the heroic dogs, led by a young beagle named Lou, thwart his efforts to steal the allergy vaccine. Despite his cunning schemes, the dogs outsmart his feline agents, secure the vaccine, and save the day. Harley, what did you make of Mr. Tinkle's plan?
It's pretty solid, I think, for the most part, right? In terms of how do you eliminate your biggest rival, the biggest obstacle to world domination, which would be the dogs, of course, then, yeah, release a pathogen, make owners allergic to them. And his method of doing so is, yeah, interesting, like quite clever to think about as well. The idea of like, yeah, mice and rats going to get in everywhere. And as they point out in the film, the added bonus is they get to eat the mice afterwards. So, you know, it's everybody wins. I think it's a pretty good plan for the most part.
Gaz?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Making people allergic to dogs is a very good plan, actually. A friend of the podcast, Stuart Wynn, had a dog when we were growing up that I was terribly allergic to, like horrendously. Within minutes of going into the house, I would be just bright red, eyes streaming. So I can well imagine if they released that into the world, that it would be quite unlivable and cats would soon take over. So it's a thumbs up from me. 5 thumbs up.
Ooh. How about you, Craig? Are you going along with all that?
I think it's a little bit too opportunistic for me. It relies on Jeff Goldblum's research succeeding, because all they're doing for the first part is preventing this allergy cure from being made, which doesn't really solve the problem that quite a lot of people are not allergic to dogs. But when the opportunity to make everyone allergic to dogs comes along, that opportunity is seized on. But beyond that, it doesn't show to me like a strength of long-term planning and thinking of different ways to eliminate the dog threat.
Well, he's a cat.
Would perhaps your plan involve something along those lines to resolve that?
Yeah, it might.
Whoa.
Ben, how's it stack up broccoli-wise?
Well, I think it's very dastardly. I mean, harnessing what would be a cure for dog allergies and reversing it.
The old switcheroo.
Scratch that, reverse it.
I mean, for a cat to come up with that, I was very impressed. And so I'm giving the cats 10 florets of regurgitated broccoli.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's very nice.
My cat is thick as pig shit. I mean, she's a bimbo. So stupid.
Well, that's what she wants you to think.
This is the part of the show where the panel of peril compete for the title of Most Diabolical. We'll each vote for our favourite, and at the end, the person with the most votes will be crowned the winner of this special episode. But do remember, you cannot vote for yourself, you saucy babies. Our task this week is to help Mr. Tinkles realise his dream of global feline domination. So, let's do this! And as our special guest, can we have Harley's plan first, please?
As I said earlier, I kind of feel like this plan is pretty solid for the most part, but I thought I'd go in a completely different direction just to spice things up a bit. Why not? And when I was thinking about this in terms of how do cats dominate anything, my first immediate thought was, well, there's one thing that they already do dominate, right? There's one thing that everyone can universally agree is great about cats and that they love about them, whether you are a cat person or not. And that is funny cat videos.
Oh,
Yes.
It's hard to beat, right?
yeah.
And around the time of this film coming out, this is like the early stages of the internet. So I feel like it's the perfect time for Mr. Tinkles to get on board. And what he could do is just dial a lot of his technology and resources into creating more videos, put them on every website that exists, and then like a virus, they just spread as the internet grows, and it will slowly consume more and more people. Not just that, though, because obviously, you might be thinking, well, Harley, funny cat videos, how's that going to help him take over the world? Because people could just shut those off at any point. This is the evil part. You just splice in some subliminal messaging that hypnotizes people, then he has control. And he can put in some subliminal messaging that tells them to get rid of their dogs. And then slowly but surely, as the years grow and as the internet becomes more and more of a thing and people have more devices on them, the less dogs will be around. I mean, it's a slow burn plan, but within 10 to 15 years, no more dogs.
Right. How long do cats live?
I mean, that is the flaw in my plan, yes. But you see, Mr. Tinkles is a visionary. He's thinking about the future.
Yeah.
He understands that in order to make his plan succeed, he has to make sacrifices, including himself.
Trying to get money for his grandkids, nieces, like Will I am.
Exactly.
He's planting seeds, and he knows he's not going to sit under the shade of that tree.
100%. Ben
he's
understands.
Good with it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to live in this better world. That's who he is.
Exactly. But he can see the trend. He sees where it's going.
Yeah.
This is my opportunity.
What kind of topics is he hitting? What kind of videos are going out?
I mean, that's the thing, because he's at the dawn of the internet. He can kind of learn the algorithm before the algorithm becomes the thing. He's the one behind it all, and people can't resist it. When there's a cat video involved, it doesn't matter what the topic is or what's happening. He'll tell them what they want to watch and what they want to see.
Right. Do you have a favourite cat video?
Do I have a favourite cat video? That's a very good question. No, is the answer.
Not off the top of your head.
That's the correct answer, so well done.
Yeah, because I haven't been mind controlled.
All right.
And can we have Craig's plan next, please?
If you want to know how to take over the world, just look at TikTok. In 2018, the app was downloaded more times than Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, X formerly known as Twitter, or Snapchat. Worldwide downloads exceed 2.6 billion, and the app has over 1 billion monthly active users. And what's on TikTok? Cats and dogs. The top genres of TikTok video, excluding people sharing their lunches, cleaning carpets, or restocking their fridges, are dogs looking guilty after destroying a lounge, or cats taking a shit on a human toilet. But we're not talking about that kind of world domination. Nevertheless, this is how the cats win. Firstly, all kittens are to be trained to use the human toilet. This will be both cute and convenient. Meanwhile, cat operatives will collect dog shit from those little red bins, or the street, and leave them in the homes of dog owners. Next, cats will be deployed to destroy more dog lounges, but this will be timed so cleanup crews have no chance to restore the room before the humans see. This will give the little dickheads carte blanche to scratch upholstery and push random things off tables and shelves, all without antagonizing their own humans. Finally, big cats like tigers will agree to become domesticated so that humans can still have a large pet to hug. So I was also thinking about cat videos.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about them predicting the success of TikTok some years in advance.
Yeah, TikTok is just an example of popular app that's popular because it's cat videos. I think cat videos could be hosted anywhere, though. You could go down to Dixon's and put VHS videos of cats in for people to watch. The era doesn't matter.
How do cats get on the toilet?
Oh, it's crazy.
Do you have to modify the toilet, like A-Team style?
No, they just sit on the seat.
Perch.
They've just got such excellent balance that they can kind of hover over it. I've even seen a couple of cats that can flush.
They can meet the parents. That one can flush, can't it?
Yes, meet the parents cat, yeah. Although I have read somewhere that it's not good for cats to do that, but I don't really understand why.
But it's fine for them to shit in a vegetable patch.
Self-esteem, maybe.
Right, yeah. Or, you know, on the bathroom rug for some reason. Oh, they love doing that.
Or my driveway, apparently.
Yeah.
What are the owners thinking when their cat just suddenly start going to the toilet?
They're thinking, oh, TikTok. Oh.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, internet bunts.
Yeah.
Money. The finger thing means money.
But then there'd be no value because everyone can do it.
No, but you could never have a surplus of cat videos.
I see.
No.
If it was possible, I think that every evening my partner Emma would show me up to 9 hours of TikTok cat videos.
Fair, but would she show you 9 hours of TikTok cat videos that are all of the same thing, which in this case is cats using the toilet?
I think so, because we've done up to 45 minutes of that. There's a really good one, actually, that we saw. I've seen a couple of times, but we saw it again today. Not a toilet one, but where this woman's filming her cat, and she says to her cat, "Oh, we're going to have to sell videos of your feet." And the cat puts its foot up and spreads its toes out like it knows what she's saying. It's crazy.
Yeah. She's probably worked on that for weeks to get him to do that.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Worth it though for 1 million views.
Yeah.
10 grand in the bank.
Did you see, the Costco family? There's like a dad and a son that looks like the dad. Both got thick eyebrows. And they just go to Costco and they eat stuff. And they rate what they eat with a...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know.
Like a bomb or a bum or so. I don't fucking know what.
Not that woman who's dead common and who does the cooking. What's her name?
Terry Kitona.
No. But there's a behind the scenes video of them eating this like cookie and a chicken sandwich. And every time they say something like, "Oh, this chicken sandwich tastes really good," the dad goes, "Stop, cut. You got to say the chicken sandwich is pow," or whatever their fucking catchphrase is. And they go again. And he's like fucking Kubrick.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Got to keep it on brand.
Yeah.
Crazy world of TikTok videos, eh?
Yeah.
Right. Any further questions for Craig? Then I shall put you through my plan. Mr. Tinkles knows that the DBI, Dog Bone Investigation, has planted some of these pups to protect Professor Jeff Goldblum to continue his work. Mr. Tinkles needs a new owner too, one with an inclination to evil. He uses a cat computer to track down his target and escapes Miriam Margulies by replacing himself with a doppelganger. Under the pretense of his former owner, Mr. Mason, he travels to meet his new mysterious owner at the bottom of a dormant volcano somewhere near the equator. As Mr. Tinkle's helicopter lands inside the secret base, his new patron awaits him. As the door opens and nobody steps out, there is confusion. What is going on? Then Mr. Tinkles smoothly exits the helicopter and casually strolls up to his waiting host, rubbing himself against his legs and purring loudly. The man peers down and smiles from ear to ear as he reaches down to scoop Mr. Tinkles up and into his arms. Walking back to his office, confused but now delighted at his unexpected guest, he sits himself down in his rather large, high-back swivel chair and strokes his new kitty. "Together you and I will conquer the world," whispers Mr. Tinkles. The man freezes in surprise and looks at his new acquaintance in disbelief. "Don't be so surprised. Do you think Mason came up with those plans? Feeble old man. No. However, with our combined intelligence, personal and resources, the world is not enough." The man begins to stroke Mr. Tinkles again, a wry smile appearing on his face. "The culprit is known to me. I have decided on the appropriate action. You just have to help me in return, Ernst," says Mr. Tinkles. Blofeld looks into Mr. Tinkles' eyes and chuckles softly. "Goodbye, Mr. Bond."
How many times has Blofeld been successful in Bond films?
Oh, but this time he's got the power, the additional firepower of an extremely cunning cat in his arsenal.
Yeah, the one thing Blofeld's been missing in previous films was a cat.
A talking cat that's more intelligent than 50 humans.
Oh, wait, so the cats that Blofeld normally has can't talk.
Yeah.
But Blofeld exists in the cats and dogs world.
He does, yeah.
Huh.
So how does this help Mr. Tinkles beat the dogs?
He's getting Blofeld to help him out as well because he's got a plot to kill Bond, and he's saying, "Look, I'll bump off Bond for you because he doesn't know about talking cats and shit."
Yeah.
And then
He didn't even see it coming.
yeah,
And so Bond dies of what? A heart attack?
he misses like an appointment because Mr. Tinkles shits in his garden, so he misses an appointment, and that basically leads to Blofeld having enough time to complete one of his evil plots.
No. And then Bond gets fired in disgrace.
Yeah, and he's like
Again.
the bloody cat is shit in my garden. Oh, God, it's on my fingers.
Is this a world where Roger Moore's still Bond when he's 80?
Yes, he is. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, he never retired. They decided to keep him going. Yeah.
I was pottering among the poppies.
And I saw some pussy poop.
Eyebrow raised.
And relax.
So we know cats can drive vans. We see that in the film. So I presume they can pilot a helicopter. That's fine.
No, he hires it to get a pilot. Cats piloting helicopters. Are you mad?
Well, whatever. That part isn't wild to me.
How are they going to pull up the collective? It's too heavy.
Yeah, you didn't think about the collective, did you?
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, they do fly planes in the film because, the ninja cats get dropped off by plane.
Right,
and
yeah.
They have those little, jetpack things.
But that's all right. They've just got a push forward thing on that. The collectives pull up.
As a reminder, that was not my problem with the plan.
Okay. Go on then.
My problem was this base in the base of a volcano on the equator. Famously, Blofeld has secret layers. I mean, villains have secret layers. How does Mr. Tinkles find it?
He uses his cat computer, which is smarter than a normal computer.
You bloody solved it.
Oh, yeah.
You've bloody solved it. Well done.
I did say in the plan as well, he uses a cat computer.
Pretty clever.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are the names of some volcanoes on the equator?
Equator volcano. And of course, the world famous volcano of the equator.
That's a dormant volcano, is it?
Yeah.
I found it online, Volcano of the Equator and Equator Volcano. They're both legit. They check out.
Yeah, yeah.
Both active.
Oh, no, what are you looking on, Wikipedia?
No, I'm looking on Google Gemini, the famously reliable AI search.
I'm looking in an encyclopedia that was published last week, and it says they're dormant.
Well, perhaps Blofeld wants you to think that they're active.
Oh, nice.
That's a good one. Thanks for that, Ben. Lovely, thank you very much.
Yeah. He's just got some cotton wool and a red light at the top.
Right. Any further questions for moi? Good. Ben, we have your plan, please.
Under the cover of night, the feline squad, led by, I don't know, Mr. Whiskers or someone, approaches the house. Fluffy, the smallest of the bunch, squeezes through the mail slot and unlatches the door for the others. Lou, the eager beagle, no doubt goes to investigate. When he does, he notices a dark humanoid figure in a suit and trilby walking through the doorway. As he approaches, the figure begins to speak.
Did you record that when you woke up or something?
Lou skids to a halt, ears perked and head tilted. Surely this must be a human. Only humans walk through doorways, talk, and wear dapper trilbies after all. The bewildered Lou stares for a moment longer, then slowly backs out of the room and informs the other dogs it was a false alarm. With the alarm called off, the humanoid stack of cats is free to move about the house. Once in the bedrooms, the cats, now free of their disguise, execute the final phase of their plan. As the family members sleep soundly, the cats take their positions. Each one chooses a target, and with perfect precision, they delicately climb onto the human's chest and settle down on their faces. Gently, but thoroughly suffocating them to death. With the family now dead, it's rather a simple matter to set the house ablaze, and while Lou tries in vain to awaken the boy to save him from the flames, the cats retrieve the formula and make good their escape. Lou sadly perishes in the fire.
Well, I think I know the award for darkest plan.
Yeah.
That's how I was feeling after watching this film.
What?
No, I'm just joking.
Dogs won.
Straight after the film, I was thinking, how can I do this? And I remember the cat my sister had called Cleopatra.
Yeah.
And we all had to keep our bedroom doors closed because of this cat, because it would come and it would, in the middle of the night, it would just lie in your face and you'd wake up like almost dying.
So, Ben, Cleopatra was coming at you.
Exactly. All the time. Cleopatra is always coming at me.
There's tumbleweed right there. you might get tumbleweed in the edit. It depends who edits.
Surely that gets me an extra floret of broccoli.
If I edit, you're going to be hearing Cleopatra coming at you by Cleopatra. It'll be...
Yes!
Hello, Peril Pals. Future Ben here. As the editing of this episode fell to me, I wanted to share my rationale for eschewing the suggestions of the panel and celebrating Harley's joke. In the vast, often tenebrous landscape of contemporary humour, it is a rare joy to encounter a jest that so elegantly distills the essence of wit into a single scintillating droplet of mirth. The joke, a delightful callback to a turn-of-the-century British pop trio, rises beyond the morass of commonplace banter to touch the sublime. It is a masterstroke of linguistic economy, marrying nostalgia and modernity in a ballet of brevity that Pirandello himself might envy. And with that, on with the show.
So, Ben, presumably you died, and commiserations.
Well, no, because we started closing the door after I lost my younger brother, Steve. Steve Steinson. He was the good one. He was the good one.
What happened when Cleopatra sat on your face, did you say? So it sounded like you said that you woke up and... What?
Yeah. I realised that as I said it. These cats are trained professionals. They know their tails are right down the gullet.
Hasn't Lou, at this point, spoken to a cat and it was perfectly intelligible, unlike that Long John cat?
You could hear that, exactly what he was saying. He was saying, oh, Long Johnson.
You filled all the holes in your plot there, so...
Phew.
Last but not least, we'll have Gers.
Frequently portrayed as the baddies in films, the CIA are in fact real-life baddies whose raison d'etre is to destabilise the governments, most prominently of South American countries, that they don't currently have a controlling and, most importantly, economic interest in. Often causing long-lasting civil wars, John Krasinski's favourite shady government operatives are no strangers to imposing America's will upon foreign cultures. And so it is that the cats infiltrate Langley, Virginia, and somehow convince the powers that be to engage in a special operation in Egypt. Not to destabilise the country itself, but to destabilise the country's standing on the world stage. The entirety of America's wealth, weapons, and military-industrial complex is siphoned off to Egypt, which soon becomes the planet's preeminent superpower. Naturally, this puts our feline friends in the seat of power too, as contrary to the claim in the film Cats and Dogs, Guterman 2001, dogs did not replace cats in the Egyptian populace's affections, and therefore they claimed the world by proxy.
The Egyptians did like dogs though, didn't they? They had Anubis.
Yeah, but they preferred cats is what I'm saying. Is there a massive, slightly knackered statue of a dog anywhere? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a good point actually.
Wasn't Horace a dog or something, wasn't he?
What, from the Daily Mirror cartoon strip?
No, from wasn't he in...
Oh, you mean Horace?
Horace.
Yeah, Horace.
Is it Horace like fucking Horace?
Yorkshire.
I don't know. What do it look like a Greek mythology dude.
Egyptian mythology?
Whatever, yeah. See, I don't even know which country it is.
No, Horus was like a falcon.
Was he? What was the one that looked like...
The one I said, Anubis.
Anubis, yeah. Gaz, back to your plan.
Yeah.
You mentioned the cats going to Langley and persuading the powers that be. And you also mentioned the word somehow. I'd like a little bit more clarity on that.
Gaz wrote The Rise of Skywalker.
Somehow Palpatine returned. Yeah, they use their feline wiles and it all just falls into place somehow.
See, there's that word again.
I think you explained it in the lead up, didn't you? The CIA are evil. Go to CIA and tell them your evil plan. I think they'll just be like, okay, we're in.
Hey, CIA, want to destabilize a country with me? Oh,
Sure.
boy, oh boy, do we?
I'm already kind of busy destabilizing the country. What about you, Gary? Oh, yeah, I've got some time. Just give the case to me. Yeah, I buy that.
Yeah, I reckon they wouldn't take too much convincing, especially from a talking cat.
So they're going to just flood the dog community with drugs or something? Is that kind of the plan? I'm just curious.
I suppose they could, couldn't they? That they could kind of ghettoize them, drive them into the communities together, and just rather like America itself, flood those ghettoized communities with cheap, poorly manufactured drugs like crack, and then the dogs would be stealing copper, and the teeth would be falling out.
Give some weapons to the stray dogs of the street. Create gang warfares.
Yeah,
I don't think you'd even need crack because a dog will eat anything pretty much, won't it?
This is very true.
Oh, you're telling me?
Yes, my dog eats cat shit.
Flood the streets with garbage and...
This little one that you guys can see, within about 30 seconds of us leaving the house, immediately went for some nearby poo.
Yeah.
That's awful,
Despite
isn't
the fact that I made the point of bringing a bag full of dog treats with me, and I made a point to show her the dog treats as I left the house.
They're not fresh dog treats like poo's fresh.
Exactly.
Poo's
Yeah.
fresh,
and they're not on the floor right in front of
Yeah.
So, Gaz, I'm sorry to rail on your plan here, but
for God's sake. What do you want?
in 2001, was Charlton Heston head of the NRA?
The NRA? Yeah, probably, yeah. That sounds about right.
Well, what's he saying about the American weapons complex moving to Egypt? Is he keeping his wig on or is he losing his shit?
He can say what he wants. I'm not concerned with what Charlton Heston's saying. He's an actor. If he was a cat or a dog actor, then we'd be talking about. A human actor is actually, it's none of his business.
Stay out of it, is what he's saying.
Yeah. Stay in your lane, Heston. Yeah. You mind your beeswax. I'll mind ours.
Did the CIA usually pay much heed to the NRA?
Well, there's a lot of lobbyists, the NRA, and and the governments do pay a lot of attention to lobbyists. Hence the gun crimes in America.
Right.
Yeah, I think there'll be lots of CIA fans in the NRA.
It's a fair point.
And the IRS.
That as well. Probably.
Those plans were more diabolical than a cat poop in a strawberry patch. So in summary, we had Harley's subliminal messaging scheme. We had Craig's TikTok terror tactic, my Spectre suggestion, Ben's suffocation strategy, and Gaz's CIA evil recipe. But there can only be between 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 people who can score a point that doesn't mean anything. So with that in mind, Harley, could you please reveal who you voted for?
Sure. Don't know how well that's going to come out on camera.
It's Ben.
It's Ben.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
I mean, it was just really sinister and dark. And
It was very dark.
yeah, I genuinely am concerned for you a bit, Ben, but yeah, I really appreciated it.
I just thought the film needed a bit of a dark twist.
Yeah.
You've done us all a favour because recently, if he doesn't get a vote, he gets quite angry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just start becoming like a member of the Lollipop Guild and kicking out.
His wife, it makes him sleep in the spare room as well when he doesn't get any points.
The worst thing about that is they don't have a spare room.
Yeah, it is awful.
Before tonight, I wasn't worried about my cat suffocating me in my sleep, but now it's my number one fear.
Yeah.
I know,
So,
right?
yeah. Right. Ben, can you please reel who you voted for?
Well, it's going to look like the old reach around because I voted for subliminal messaging.
Oh,
yeah, there
nice.
we go. Okay.
Thank you.
Craig, can you reveal who you voted for?
I voted for the plan that had the most real-world evil in it, and that was Gaz's CIA plan.
Nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Also, I like tying it into Egypt.
Gaz.
Okay, well, first time I've done it on my notes app on my phone.
Oh.
And I don't do more than one note at any one time, so it's at the bottom of the shopping list. So we've got bread, milk, corn ham, beer, Craig.
I know I'm going to make my special name next time I win a season.
Well, it looks like I'm going to have the deciding vote, don't I? So, yeah.
Unless you
I
vote for yourself, and then it'll be a tie.
No, I'm not a saucy baby, you see. I voted for the one who exposes the crimes of the most evil nation in the world. So I voted for Gaz.
Oh,
nice.
Taking it. Well done.
Well done. Well earned.
First special episode victory for myself. What
Oh.
a proud day this is.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll throw the microphone over to you now, Harley. Would you like to tell the listeners about your show and where they can find you?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I run the show called Fandomentals. It is the podcast that explores pop culture one conversation at a time. There has been over, I think, close to 120 episodes at the time of us recording. Loads for people to check out. I go all over the map. We do films, TV, music, all sorts of other things. I'm very loose and liberal with the term pop culture. Sometimes I just have conversations with people because I think they'll be fun and interesting. But you guys came on to talk about movie villains, for example. It's a good jumping off point. The time of us chatting, I just put out some episodes where I got to interview people in person for the first time, which was really cool. I was at a couple of different music festivals, so I was talking to people about life on and off the stage at festivals, for example. There's an independent filmmaker season, there's a songwriting season, there's a sitcom season, which is just about to start. That's one of my favorite ones to record because who doesn't love talking about sitcoms? So, there's stuff like that coming up, and I'm working on the next couple of seasons. So, yeah, if people want to go and check that out, please do. It's Fandomentals podcast on wherever you get your podcasts.
And if your podcaster's listening, you should give Harley a shout because there was a lot of fun going on.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a blast chatting to you guys, and that's the aim. Every conversation is I just aim to have a fun chat with people and learn a bit more about pop culture.
Sitcom sounds fun.
It's one I think I'll do every year because I did it initially before I went seasonal as like a summer run of episodes that just happened, and it was so much fun to put together because I like to put in clips and all sorts. And then now I sort of do like the month of September, and I've just been putting the edits together today. And again, just tons of fun. I get to be a bit silly and put jingles and all sorts of stupid stuff in. So if you enjoy that, then you'll get a kick out of them.
If you're listening to this and you don't enjoy jingles, sorry. Well, we're back to our regularly scheduled programming next week, Peril Pals. As we return for my next pick of Season 6, Beetlejuice, starting our Spooktober season. 5 freaky films filled with gruesome gasms.
I vow to suck your balls.
Be sure to join us, or you might die of an unexpected complication that you don't know you have yet.
Aneurysms are quite common.
Be careful on the toilet, don't strain too much.
And that about wraps things up for another week. Thanks for listening. If this is your first time listening, don't forget to like and subscribe. We are also available across the socials on @DiabolicalPod. So until next time, dear listeners, stand still. I need to crush you.
You don't want to know whether the rest of us are cat or dog people.
What was that?
You're not going to ask the rest of us if we're cat people or dog people.
I already know.
The listeners don't know, Adam.
Okay.
It's always listening, isn't it?
Yeah.
TikTok.
That's why I don't social, Adam. I don't social.
Oh, mate. TikTok's worth it. It's brilliant.
Well, a new slogan.
If they're spying on me and they give me content like that, more of it.
If you're
More of
listening,
it.
which you are.
Yeah.
Hello, TikTok. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I'm also one of these people who, when I hear that social media is spying on us, or that Google is, I'm like, either
So
this
what?
is interesting that Google's going to
Yeah.
find out about me. This is giving me
Well,
better
a
ads.
couple of your
Fair
kinks,
dues.
I reckon.
If I was an international terrorist, then I'd probably have something to worry about. But otherwise, I'm just
Yeah.
a fucking weird guy.
I don't think any of my kinks are they're not unusual enough for Google to care about. They'll just be like, typical
Another one there, mate.
standard. Yeah.
Am I doing the question at the end of this paragraph, Turner, or are you
Yes.
doing
Yes,
the
you
question?
can.
I'm doing the question as well.
I thought, well, yeah, because it's only a very simple question.
Okay, all right. I'm not knocking it. I'm just.
Can you handle it,
qualifying.
Gaz? Jeez.
Yeah, can you handle it?
Well,
Can you handle
after
it?
last night's performance,
Hey,
we'll be doing a bit of clicking.
handle it?
Incredible.
Avery, come on.
Yeah, basketball player.